Hey, this is Digester from Ghoul, and you're watching CMS TV.
That's Eclipse right here on your classic metal show. Something fairly new from them called Apocalypse Blues. Pretty good stuff from Eclipse there. That one going up by Requested Dude Bro. And just before that, we heard Gamma Ray for Josh Apkin. And we also heard some Uriah Heep there for Jackal in the chat room with, what is this? Rainbow Demon is what that was called. So there you go, wrapping up a little block of rock.
On the only station that matters.
Exactly.
WCMS.
Right, exactly. We play your request, man.
That's right.
You don't have to check with a consultant firm in New York to see if it's okay to play that song.
It's all hits all the time.
Right.
The songs you want banging in your ears. Radio's so stupid.
I know. It used to be a cool thing when it was the only thing you had.
Yeah.
But
Doodles Weaver used to be the best TV show in the world, I'm sure.
Well, apparently so. People found that entertaining.
That's right.
Dumping shoe polish all over some guy and whacking his foot and pushing him off the bench and
just laughing and laughing.
Just to shine his shoes.
That was like the retarded version of the Three Stooges.
Yeah, pretty much.
It was like the Three Stooges without the funny. Because the Three Stooges are hilarious.
I know. Who doesn't? What guy doesn't love the Three Stooges?
Yeah, everybody does. But
yeah.
Oh well, whatever. Doodles Weaver. Can't wait to hear that story after, like tomorrow or something.
Yep. So yeah, we were just sitting there cracking up listening to that story. It was just holy shit. Yeah, this Sigourney Weaver, she's just a little kid at the time. She was just and I was like, what?
I know she's been grown our whole life.
Right.
She's like a grandmother. It's hard to imagine her being like a kid.
Yeah. Like, wow. All right. I didn't know anything about it, but cool.
Sure.
All right. Do you have anything in particular?
Sure. I actually do today.
All right.
Plenty. I have a plenty of musical stuff. I'm going to give you the choice.
Okay.
You could choose 1 or 3. Number 1 would be a straight review of a new song from Stryper.
Okay.
Brand new song came out. Or number 3 would be 1, 2, 3 stories that I think are musicians that just need to shut the fuck up.
Oh.
And for various reasons. And we can do both. I mean, the Stryper song going to take 10 minutes
I think that's right. We'll just get the Stryper song out of the way.
Okay.
I think that's a pretty quick one.
Yeah. All right, we'll start there. Stryper has a new album coming out. I don't remember what it's called. Nor do I care because I know I won't listen to it. And I don't hate them. I'm just not into them necessarily. I forget what the new album is called, but it's coming out. But the first single came out. Michael Sweet's out there saying it's heavier than most of the Stryper material. Yeah.
Okay.
So, but what's he supposed to say? What's he gonna say? Yeah, it's just the same old shit. I don't know. I have not listened to the song.
Okay.
I literally saw the video and I said, I'm going to do this one blind because I always come into Stryper thinking I'm not going to like it, and then I don't hate it either. So I figured I would just do it blind and we'll see what we get. So have you heard this at all? It's called End of Days.
No, I'm never been a Stryper fan.
Me, it's Michael's voice. I like Michael. Nice guy.
Yeah. I don't like his operatic delivery.
It's a little too over the top for me.
Yeah, he's the Dennis Young of hair metal.
Yeah, that's good. That's a good way to put it. He really is. All right, let's check out this song. This is new Stryper, and it's called End of Days.
Okay.
Is he trying to say something?
It's an apocalyptic landscape already.
Was this shot right after the shooting today?
Yeah.
Oh, no, that's right. It wasn't a lib that got shot. Then it would look just like this.
Right.
Then every city would look just like this.
And there would be mostly peaceful protests going on.
After that interruption from the Secret Service. All right, here we go. Stryper, End of Days. All right. What do you think?
Well, it's heavier Stryper.
Yeah.
I mean, it's definitely heavier than, their typical stuff, I guess. So
yeah,
I guess I'll have to take Michael's word for it that it's heavier than their typical fare.
I agree. It's heavier. I'm not digging this at all, though. Personally, I mean, it's okay, but I hated that breakdown in the middle of it too. That weird part where it switched to the chorus. I didn't like that at all. So I don't know. Well, we'll see. Let's play a little more of it.
All right.
Like depressing too. Jesus.
Well, I mean, it's got the message of about the end of times, which obviously end of days.
No, it's like
the apocalypse and the destruction of the world.
Can't we just have fun on our way out? Jesus, man. Holy depression.
He's got to stay with the religious bent of Stryper and
he's staying on brand.
Giving people the is this the fate you want to meet in your end of days?
Oh. I know this. If this is the end of days, this is not the last Stryper song I want to hear. I'd rather hear some other ones. I'd rather hear Against the Law or something like that. Not this. All right, I'm a hard pass on this one. Where are you at?
Not a fan. I'm just not a fan of Stryper. They just don't do it for me.
Yeah, same here. And again, don't hate them. I've seen them. They do put on a good show.
Yeah,
they are a good live band. But I never was a big huge. Again, my only album that I really ever go back to is Against the Law, the one where they did not preach at you, where they were just like, whatever, booze, drugs, it's all good.
Right.
I was good with that album. But, all right. All right, so that's it. You don't want to hear more of this, do you?
No, I've got my fill of the new Stryper.
All right, so we're good there.
All right.
All right, so let's move to 3 different stories that I grabbed this week. All of them are musicians that kind of need to... 2 are musicians that really need to just stop it. Stop with the hype. Be real with the press for once. And then one of them is, if you don't want to talk about it, don't have to talk about it.
Right.
I'll let you pick first. I'll tell you the bands. You tell me what you want to hear first.
All right.
WASP.
Okay.
Fozzy. Or Vixen.
Well, I'm going to go with Vixen first. It sounds, whatever the story is, it sounds like it could be a train wreck.
Actually, probably not as much as the others, but... So you're aware that Lorraine Lewis was fired recently, Vixen?
I had heard that. I didn't know she was fired. I thought she quit or something. Or
no, she was definitely fired.
Okay.
She was fired and replaced by... I forget the girl's name, but she was in, or probably is in, TSO with Mariah.
Okay.
The girl that stands next to Mariah on TSO is now the singer of Vixen. I forget what her real name is.
All right.
But, so Lorraine is going out of her way to talk about it. You know, she's getting asked questions about what happened and whatnot, as of course she's going to get asked. And she's kind of half telling it.
Okay.
And this is what's annoying to me. I'll read some of her quotes, and you tell me if I should be annoyed or not. But what I personally don't like about this, she is on with Troy Patrick Farrell, who does good interviews. I don't know if you've ever watched Troy's interviews, but he does do really good.
But I know Troy pretty well.
Yeah, he's a good dude, and he does good interviews. He's and a lot of musicians will talk to him a little more than most because he's a musician, so they know him. So they get a little comfortable with him. I'm reading this interview because I wanted to find out if she's going to say what happened. And she kind of goes up to the point of, she goes out of her way to say she didn't quit, that she was kicked out, etc., but then won't go all the way with it.
Okay.
Then literally hits I'm not prepared to talk about that. My thought is, then why are you doing interviews? She's not promoting anything. She doesn't have gigs. She just got kicked out of her band.
Right.
So if you don't want to talk about the only thing that people want to talk to you about, why would you do the interview?
Yeah, don't do interviews at all unless you're promoting something.
Yeah, which to my knowledge, she's not. I did not watch the whole interview. I just kind of read through this. But in a new interview with Troy Patrick Farrell of This, That, and the Other radio show, former Vixen singer Lorraine Lewis opened up about her recent exit from the band after a 5-year run. She said, "I want to say, first of all, that for me, I've had the best time with Vixen. I've had the best time with the band. Touring last summer was amazing. We killed it. I know we killed it. I know that I did my job. I know that as the front person and the singer, I brought it every show. I treated the band like it was my own. Not that it was, or not that I knew that it would ever be. I mean, Vixen is not my band. It's Roxy's band. And I've known that forever. But I know that as the lead singer, I brought my brand of rock and roll. She wanted me to be a part of the band 5 years ago, so I was happy and honored to be carrying on the legacy of Vixen for sure. I was really thrilled about that, and I've had the best time, and I miss the girls a lot." So I'm going to stop there before I read on. Hearing that, shouldn't the very next thing out of her mouth be, "But here's what happened"?
Right.
The very next quote should be like, "But here's what really happened, and here's why I'm not in the band." You agree?
And I agree. And yeah, again, why are you even talking about this?
Yeah. Well, here's the next step. I will say it's always, though, been more about the fans for me, she continued. It's about belly to belly with the people. I mean, the fact that people show up to these 80s rock shows and love the music still, and young people that weren't born back in the day are showing up to these shows and love the music. I mean, that's where I'm at with my love for the business. It's all about the fans and the friends that show up to these shows. Because without them, we are zero. Without them, we are nothing. And I really mean that, and I know it to the core. So now, in my mind, and again, this is only in my mind, tell me if you agree with me or disagree here. Now she's starting the dodge. Like, she wants to keep talking about stuff, but she's not sure where to go. So she goes to the old standby. But it's all about the fans, man.
Right.
And the reason I did it was only about the fans, man. Right?
Yeah.
Is that what that feels like to you?
Well, again, it's never been about the business or the paycheck for me. It's always just been about
It's always been about the camaraderie between me and you, and I'm so glad that you're out here letting me do it, so I'm going to give you my best because you give me your best every night when we get it. We understand the dynamic between the fans and the band. We got it. But now after this sentence, so now it should be, but here's how I got kicked out of the band.
Right.
We've gone through the little delay tactic. Now it's time to get to the meat and potatoes, right? Elaborating on the way her departure from Vixen came about, Lorraine said, and this is where I would automatically be just pissed if I was Troy.
Okay.
What I will say about the situation, that line alone would make me be like, oh, Jesus, we're not going to get the answer.
Mm-hmm.
What I will say about the situation, and I do want people to know that I didn't quit the band. A lot of people think that I quit. The announcement that I made seemed to suggest to me that you could tell that it was not my decision to leave. I'm going to stop right there for a minute. So she felt she made the decision or the statement that she was fired. But people didn't understand that. That's what she said, right?
Right.
So then right here would be the best place to say, but I was fired. Here's why. Here's how. Here's what I was told. Yes?
You would think.
She continues. I mean, that's how I thought that I worded it. And I have a cabinet of people around me, and we really fine-tuned it.
Was she the president? She's got her own
I was going to
cabinet.
say. And I wanted to make sure that I wanted the fans to know how important they are to me and how much I love them and how much fun I've had.
Okay.
And also, don't count me out. I am not going anywhere. I might not be in this band right now, but there is more to come from me. I was Lorraine Lewis before that band, and I am still Lorraine Lewis, and I will always be. And music is in my soul, and in my gut, and in my heart, and there's more to come. And so I wanted people to know, though, that the band was moving in a different direction, which is what she said in her statement. I have not seen the band say that.
Okay.
And that's how I was presented with the change. I was told that the band was moving in a different direction and I was not going to be the singer anymore. And that's really it. And it's just important for me to let everyone know, the fans, this isn't about them or me or us or musicians or anything. It's about the fans.
How many times is she going to say that?
And I just want these people that have messaged me and asked me, why did you quit? I just want to say I didn't quit. I didn't leave you. I didn't quit. It was not my decision. And that's really all there is to say about that.
Okay.
She didn't say anything.
No.
She said, For some mysterious reason, I was told to leave. Now, I've watched a zillion videos of her doing this. You've seen it live, right, with Lorraine?
Yeah.
She kicks ass. I don't think we're arguing that, are we?
Yeah, she still brings it for an old lady.
And therein lies the problem, I think.
Yeah, I do too.
I think she was fired because she's old.
Yeah, she's old.
She's old. All the other three, what's her name? Britt Lightning and Richie Kotzen's wife, whatever her name is, the bass player. They're young. And Roxy still looks pretty young. Roxy has not really aged terribly.
No.
And even if she does look old and up close, she's behind a drum kit.
That was going to be my next comment is, well, she's not out front.
Yeah. So with that being said, Lorraine looked old. They went for a younger person.
Mm-hmm.
They went for that Rosa, whatever her name is. I'm going to find a video of her. Hold on, let's see. YouTube. It'll just be Vixen Rosa. Vixen Rosa. Rosa Lara Shuta is the person, but she's younger. I didn't look. Present. Because I don't hear no different direction in this either. This sounds exactly the same. Just a younger version doing it. Here we go. It's just a younger version.
Wow. She knocks out the Janice Gardner sound perfectly.
Yeah, she sounds great.
If I hadn't seen the video and here's some live Vixen, I would have thought that was
Janet. Yeah,
I would have thought that was Janet Gardner.
Yeah, she does a great job, and she's great. I mean, you don't become a year-to-year member of TSO by sucking. She's great at what she does. I have nothing bad to say about this person here. I don't know her at all.
Yeah, she's the Kelly Hansen of Vixen.
Yeah. What she is she's the younger version of Lorraine.
Right.
Because Lorraine sounded pretty close herself. But this one's younger.
Mm-hmm.
But Lorraine just does not want to admit that.
Yeah.
And I don't know if she feels embarrassed or something. Like it's embarrassing to admit, hey, I aged out of a band. But that's a real thing. I know Eric talks to me all the time about, like, if and when Steven retires, that's his big fear, is that he's going to be too old to do it more.
Right.
Because he feels like, people look at him and they'll look at some 20-year-old kid that'll take, $100 a gig or whatever, and they'll go with that kid. And he's probably right about that, But my thing, and going back to Lorraine, because that's what this is about, is why is she doing this press at all if she doesn't want to talk about it? And she clearly doesn't want to talk about it. She wants to put out there a dribble of information, just a dribble.
I guess it's maybe her way of saying that even if I'm not in Vixen, I'm still going to be performing.
Yeah.
Just say, well, that's not the end of me. That's not the last you've heard from me. I may be out of Vixen, but don't worry. I'm gonna do some solo stuff or do a version of Femme Fatale or something. I don't know. Yeah. Who knows? A better way to do that? Go record a song and put it out there. Say, hey, here's a new song from me. I'm Not As Old As They Say by Lorraine Lewis. Make an absolute hate track about what they did. I mean, doing an if I was Troy, I would have been pulling my hair out of my head doing this interview. I would have been like, so what was the reason they gave you? And I know he's probably friendly with them because I'm sure White Lion has played shows with Vixen.
You know, and I'm sure he doesn't want to be the asshole journalist in this. But, you know, or maybe just doesn't want to do that kind of journalism, which I respect that as well. But she's got to come on and say what the hell happened. Why do an interview and not say what happened? That's my bitch with this.
Mm-hmm.
It's not that it's a bad interview. It's not that Lorraine says anything wrong. It's that she's tap dancing all around the only part that people want to know.
Right.
Nobody gives a shit about that you want to go belly to belly with the fans and you fucking gave your all. We know that. We got that part. What we want to know is why the fuck are you sitting at home while this other girl's singing your parts? That's what we want to know. Well, I don't want to give that much of the story.
Well, maybe she's not allowed to talk about it.
Then say that.
Yeah.
Then say, I'd love to say more, but I signed a contract that said I can't. What's wrong with that? Be honest. Just be honest about it. Let them answer for it. The way she did it here, now nobody has to answer for it, and she's going to keep getting asked the question. She's going to keep getting asked the question.
Well, if that interview comes across Chris Aiken's desk, that's the first question.
Of course.
It's like, all right, so level with us. What was the reason you were booted?
Yeah, I can promise you that it won't be like, well, you know, tell me about bellying up to the fans and pouring your heart out and them pouring their energy back to you. I don't give a shit. Tell me what was said that put you out the band. That's what I want to know. Well, I don't want to talk. Okay, well then, thanks for the interview. Have a nice day. And I like Lorraine. I'm not trying to shit on her.
Yeah, no.
I did a great interview with her just a few months ago.
I know. I remember.
You know, it wasn't even that long ago, which is even more weird. It's weird that they did that song in the video and then pushed her out. There's got to be and that kind of makes me think there's a reason.
Well, maybe management is.
Who's their management?
I don't know. I'm just throwing spaghetti at the wall here. Maybe management is encouraging them to get a younger look about them. Maybe we can get you some, higher profile gigs or something. Who knows?
Yeah, I mean, who knows? There's only one way to get Vixen higher profile gigs. And it's not Rosa, long name with an L. It's Janet Gardner. That's the only name that's going to ever matter to getting more money or better gigs for Vixen.
Right.
Because she's still alive and performing these songs. So the only thing that's ever going to make money for Vixen is to get Janet. If they're not going to get Janet, and you had something that was working, then you stay with what's working.
Right.
Problem is, obviously something didn't work. And to me, and again, I'm guessing with no knowledge of nothing here. But they did a video, they put out a song, they all promoted about how it was the start of something, and then they pushed her out. Which makes me think there's a specific reason, a specific incident, a specific something that changed. We've seen this how many times? Where something is said, the wrong thing is said, some kind of an issue.
Well, it's kind of like Tony Harnell joining Skid Row.
Yeah.
He joined them and he lasted for, whatever it was, not maybe
7 months or whatever.
Yeah, not quite a year, and boom, he's out.
Yeah.
And they re-recorded that song, to
showcase him.
To showcase him, introduce him to the band as the new singer.
Well, they're a different animal anyway with their singer drama. I mean, that's just part of their interview cycle is who's the new singer?
Yeah.
Tell us how great the new guy is. That's just part of their thing. But all right, so that's Lorraine Lewis. But by no means is that the end of this.
Okay.
So let's go. This one is ridiculous. We have Lorraine not giving enough information. Then we have another pet peeve of mine, and I believe this is a pet peeve of yours as well. If I'm wrong, say. when these guys say things that are so over the top that they just come off looking ridiculous.
Yeah, well, we're familiar with that.
Yeah.
Would that be Blackie?
No.
No?
Well, maybe, but it's for sure Rich Ward from Stuck Mojo fame and now of Fozzy.
Okay.
The headline here. Chris Jericho is one of the greatest frontmen that's ever lived in rock and roll.
Okay.
Just stop. Why? Why would you ever say such a thing? I know he's your guy. It's fine if you say, you know what, Chris is really great. He's much better than I thought he was going to be when we started this band as a goof. He's a very professional frontman. He's a very good frontman. He's an excellent frontman.
Right.
One of the greatest frontmen that's ever lived in rock and roll. That is dumb.
Yeah, I know. That is kind of dumb.
So Chris Jericho, the wrestling guy, and I watch AEW. I love Chris Jericho. I'm a big fan. I ain't ready to put him up there, shoulder to shoulder with Robert Plant.
Now, is Chris still involved with wrestling?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, I don't watch it, so I
yeah,
didn't know if he's still doing that or not.
He is doing arguably the worst gimmick of his career with the learning tree, Chris Jericho, and it fucking sucks. And Lord knows I wish he would get off of wrestling TV and just go tour for a while, because he makes my watching experience awful every single week. I love him, but man, his gimmick that he's doing now is fucking terrible.
Well, what is the gimmick?
It's this phony, happy to see you bullshit. So every time he comes down the ring, he's like, hey guys, hey, glad. And then he like says a bunch of stuff, and it's just, the gimmick is false, fake, friendly.
Okay.
That's the gimmick. He tells people, hey, who wants a shirt? And he holds it up. He pretends like he's going to throw it, but then he drops it down so he doesn't throw it to the fans. It's like he's really a dick, but he's pretending to be a good guy. That's the gimmick.
All right.
And it's just bringing him a lot of heat. And I get it. That's what he's trying for, is to get people to hate him.
Okay.
But I hate it in I'm just not going to watch this segment kind of way. I don't hate it like, well, I like, you watch wrestling and you always have guys that you don't like. This isn't that. For me, this is like, why is he on my fucking TV again? Why do I got to waste 10 minutes on this fucking learning tree shit? That's how I feel with it. But anyway, that's not even the point. He ain't one of the greatest I don't care. Who are the greatest frontmen that are ever lived? Robert Plant?
Well, yeah, I mean, he's one of the most iconic.
Jim Morrison?
Yeah.
Mick Jagger?
Yeah, Mick Jagger, definitely.
Paul McCartney? John Lennon? And Chris Jericho. How ridiculous does that sound?
Yeah, I know. And he's just a club level band.
Yeah. I mean, just when you name any name that is truly considered one of the great frontmen that's ever lived, and then him, it sounds ridiculous. Prime David Lee Roth and Chris Jericho.
Same. Same.
Bon Scott and Chris Jericho. It's the most stupidest fucking thing.
Yeah.
Ever said. But man, he stays with it.
Okay.
He really stays. It's not a passing. Where does he say it here? It's not like a passing statement. He like really sells it. In a new interview with On the Road to Rock podcast with Clint Switzer, Fozzy guitarist Rich Ward reflected on the success of the band he launched 25 years ago with superstar wrestler Chris Jericho. He said in part, "We're really blessed. The Fozzy band started as a side thing for myself and Chris, and it's just kind of evolved into this passion project. which then we take as seriously as you would anything else in your life. I mean, Chris isn't going to do anything unless he feels it's going to be successful, because he's an apex predator. He's a great white shark. Everything he does is incredible. That's a little questionable, but this is where it starts getting a little much here. The fact that he's at his age and still at the top in his industry, and he's got 4 New York Times bestsellers and one of the most popular podcasts in the world, and he's one of the greatest frontmen that's ever lived in rock and roll. And I'll stand by that. You're going to be standing by yourself, Rich. There's nobody. And all the other stuff that he said is absolutely true and impressive.
Right.
All of that other stuff is true. It is impressive that he has 4 books. There is and I know you don't pay attention to wrestling for shit, but there is a realistic argument that Chris Jericho is one of the top 3 to 5 wrestlers of all time.
Okay, now that would be an agreeable statement for you if Rich Ward were to say that. Yes,
I would agree with that, because he's done as much or more than the other guys you would list. The Hulk Hogans, the Rock, Stone Cold Steve Austin. You know, he's done, you know, and I mean, for whatever wrestling is, I know it's fake and whatever, but some of his accomplishments you can't argue. You can't argue that he beat The Rock and Steve Austin twice in a day. You know, you can't, you know, I know it's all fake, but in wrestling lore, that's a monstrous thing that you beat 2 of the top 3 ever in one day to win a belt, you know, and he's changed his gimmick 400 different times. You know, he's been able to reinvent himself over and over and over and over, and every time be productive and not just be. Honestly, this gimmick he's doing now is maybe the worst one he's ever done. Like, he's finally run out of ideas.
Right.
Because this new gimmick is horrid. But he is a master at wrestling, at keeping himself relevant, keeping the fans interested in him, whether it's with good energy or bad energy. He is the master more than anybody else in the history of the sport. He really is. And the books are good. I've read 2, or I've audiobooked 2 of them, or I've heard them. So, you know, I haven't read them all 4, but I'd imagine the other 2 are good as well. I mean, super talented guy, but one of the greatest frontmen that's ever lived in rock and roll is quite the ridiculous statement. He doesn't have vocal range. He doesn't have big hit song. He has the one song that was a hit, maybe 2. The only one he has is the one that wrestling made a hit, Judas. You know, Judas was, it's got to be his biggest hit, but it's because they played it every time he walked to the ring for fucking 3 years. So, and it was part of his ring entrance was having the fans sing Judas. You know, it was part of his gimmick. So, of course, the song got popular and got played a zillion times on Spotify and whatever. Because he had the unique ability to promote it on national TV for 3 solid years, every week. You know, but I don't have to read more of this. I mean, it just goes on, and I get that you're proud of your band and you're proud of your guy and whatever, but that kind of statement makes people laugh at your guy.
Sure.
Because nobody believes that. No one believes that statement. Do you think there's anybody out there? Do you think Chris Jericho believes that statement?
No.
He's a fucking rock and roll fan. You think Chris Jericho thinks he's on the same level as Bruce Dickinson or Rob Halford?
No.
Or James Hetfield or Phil Anselmo, or he's on the same playing field as Gary Cherone. That's closer to the playing field for Chris Jericho.
Right.
Not Pete Townsend or Roger Daltrey.
Right.
He's not in that world.
No.
Let's be real here.
I mean, most people don't even know who Fozzy is.
Yeah, most still don't. Most people know that Chris Jericho's in a band if they're wrestling fans, but they probably couldn't name the band. They just know that they like his entrance music. And they probably wouldn't know the name of the song. They probably just think of it as, oh, that's Chris Jericho's entrance song. That's it. So silly. So anyway, so there you go. In case you were wondering, Chris Jericho is one of the greatest frontmen that's ever lived in rock and roll.
Ever. Okay.
Elvis, Chris Jericho.
Right. Same level.
Good point, J-Rad. Good point. Jericho, not the other voice of reason.
Well, that part is true. At least what we know.
That's right.
He could be behind the curtain or something.
He could be. All right, now this leads us to another overplayed, asinine statement. This time it is Blackie Lawless.
Okay.
Blackie's obviously out there doing interviews for the Album One Alive tour, which you are going to.
Yes, I am going. The lovely Taylor is accompanying me.
It'll be a lot of fun, I'm sure.
Mm-hmm.
Those tracks will sound great amplified. I'm positive of it. It'll be fantastic. I also recently spoke to Blackie. He's a pleasure to interview.
Yeah, he's a great interview.
He is absolutely a pleasure to interview. But that being said, he says a lot of stuff that really rubs people the wrong way.
I'm sure he does.
He did in my interview.
But he's a controversial character, though.
Yeah, he is. And I have a clip of one question with Blackie Lawless out there that has 20,000 views or some stupid number on it, of him saying why he can't bring Chris Holmes and Randy Piper back into the band to play on these, because they're not of the right caliber to play. Which of course set the world on fire with that people are just hammering him for that, hammering Doug Blair, bringing up the fact that he's literally sitting in a chair at Sweden Rock, but he's saying that these guys aren't in game shape to play. It's a whole thing. But now he said this one is even more, and we can really dig into this, because this is just flat not true. Not only it may be what Blackie's hoping for, but it is something that he's never ever once done. Quite honestly, since Crimson Idol. So that's 30 whatever years at this point. New Wasp music has to be better than the classic songs. I love everything that Blackie has done. The albums that most people don't even know. Neon Gods 1 and 2, Holy Terror, or Unholy Terror. What's the other one that was at the same time?
Yeah, it's like they were just a year apart.
Yeah, that was all scratched up on the cover or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Dying for the something, or
Dying for the World.
Dying for the World.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that one. Golgotha, Babylon. These are okay records. There ain't one. There's like, out of all those records that I just named, I bet there's not 3 songs that are even in the same running as the classic songs.
Right.
Heaven, what's that song? Heaven Held in Black or whatever?
Heaven Hung in Black.
Heaven Hung in Black is a great Wasp song from more recent times. The Raging Storm is a great song from the Neon God. That's where it kind of ends. I mean, what other songs is Blackie thinking are as good as anything on the Headless Children? Anything on Last Command? Anything on the debut? If you take track 8 or whatever that would be from the Headless Children, the rebel in the FTG or something, wasn't that one of his songs? I'm a rebel in the FTG, or
right?
Something like that. If you take that song and you compare it to anything on Golgotha, which one are you going to pick every time? Right?
Yeah. Well, see, here's the question. I haven't read this interview.
Yeah.
What does it mean it has to be better than the classic songs? better in what way? Because does it mean that they need to be bigger hits, or they need to be structured better, or
Right.
they're of a better quality of lyrical content, or what does that even mean? Better.
Well, let's dig in and see what he has to say about it.
All right.
In a new interview with KNAC, WASP frontman Blackie Lawless was asked if he and his bandmates have been working on music for the follow-up to 2015's Golgotha.
Yeah, it's only been 9 years.
Yeah, 9 years. Plenty of time to write those songs that are better than the classics, apparently.
Right.
We have been, and last year we had done quite a bit of work between the American tour and the European tour. We did a lot of recording, a lot of demoing. And I thought I liked what I was hearing. And then I came back. I had the problem with my back last year when we were in Europe, and actually my back got broken while we were over there. So I had to have a couple of surgeries when we got home from the tour. And it gave me a lot of time to sit around, twiddle my thumbs, and just listen to stuff. And I listened to the demos that we did, and there is some good moments, but it's not consistent. Golgotha is a very consistent record. I mean, Golgotha, I think it's one of the best things I've ever been a part of.
Okay.
And to try to at least do something on that level. Golgotha? Why does he think that's one of his best?
Well, because it's probably has some kind of
most recent.
Well, maybe, but because it's maybe it's satisfactorily for him personally. Maybe it's his favorite. Not necessarily the best, but maybe that's my favorite. That's, who knows?
Yeah, let's give it a little listen here. See if he's delusional in his own shit. Which
Okay.
I think he is, but I think these guys lose track of what they've done sometimes. So here's the song Golgotha from Golgotha.
Come down for sweat like blood comes down. He cuts a shadow now. The sun is gone and sorrows come where it slithers from. Jesus, I need you now. Free me.
All right, I got to stop right here. Because not only is that not one of the best songs that he's ever done, but it's a clone of Heaven's Hung in Black.
It is.
It is absolutely the same song.
Is it the lyrics? Is it his newfound faith in the lyrics that he thinks that is, because this is what makes it better?
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe, but how can it be better when you've already done it? Listen to this song. Listen to Heaven's Hung in Black. It's the same fucking song.
It's a clone of the same song.
Yeah.
Just with different words.
Even the intro.
I can't take anymore. I have no more wings. I can't take anymore. The gates of heaven sealed. Don't you hear me? Don't you hear me? Don't you fear me? Of never coming back.
It's the same song.
Yeah, it is.
Oh my goodness. Oh, wait a minute. That wasn't the one I wanted. Where is it? Oh yeah, this is clearly better than Blind and Text.
Yeah, but like I said, I wonder what he means by better. Better than what? Sonically better? Lyrically better?
Yeah.
You know, what is it? Better in what way?
Yeah, I don't know. And he's not super clear on it, but when you make a statement like that, you know that it's going to be screwed. I mean, I know he doesn't care. I'm positive Blackie Lawless does not look at social media at all.
Well,
he
again,
doesn't give a fuck.
So is it better for him personally? I got more satisfaction out of these songs. You know, writing these later songs. Who knows?
Who knows? Well, let's continue what he says here. Today, a band like us, it's all about your legacy because we're not making records anymore to sell records. I mean, those days are gone. But what we do, or what any artist does when they make a new record now, they are competing against their past. So your new record effectively becomes your opening act. And it's an opening act that's going up against songs that the audience has heard and romanced in their head for decades. That's stiff competition. So when something new comes out, for it to even be remotely considered good, in all honesty, it has to be better than the original stuff. And that's no joke. I see his point. I just don't agree with him.
Well, I don't agree with it because the only reason people remember the quote unquote the classics is because it was during a time when you would hear the songs either on the radio or on MTV. Now, if those classics didn't exist and WASP was doing these songs back in 1984,
yeah,
these might be the classics.
True.
See, because we didn't have a choice of selection and you know, music and stuff the way that we have today. So the only reason they're classics is because we all know them because we heard them on the radio and saw them on MTV.
Right.
But these new songs, you're only going to hear them if you're a fan of WASP and you want to go check them out for yourself. But unless it's spoon fed to you through some kind of a media, turn it on the radio or turn it on the MTV, it's up to you whether you go back and listen to them or not.
Yeah. And let's do something else here. With Blackie, you saw the last tour, right?
Yeah, I did.
How many songs off Golgotha did he play?
I don't think he played any.
Of course he did not play any. How many off of Babylon did he play?
None.
How many off of Dying for the World did he play?
I don't think any.
How many from Unholy Terror did he play?
Well, I'd have to look at the set list, but it doesn't ring a bell.
He played almost exclusively first album and second album and Headless Children and maybe a Crimson Idol song.
Sure.
And that's it. And I think he was playing like The Raging Storm or something. I think that was one that was on some of the sets before he cut it down to like 9 tunes or whatever.
Yeah, I know. They really cut that set really short.
Yeah. So him saying, well, it's the opening act. Well, apparently you're not taking it on tour because you ain't playing these songs. I would be curious. In fact, I'm gonna do it right now, just blind. I'm gonna Google Golgotha Live, Wasp Golgotha Live. I want to see if there's any versions of it out there. Okay, here's one from 17, one from 15. All right, so he played it. He played that song. It looks like a few times
when the album was new.
Yeah, when it was new. So I guess that song was the opening act. I guess
the opening act to the classics.
Yeah.
Okay, well, we're going to get our new stuff out of the way because then we're going to play the songs you came here to hear.
Yeah. Really? And I'm not saying to go all Iron Maiden and do a whole album of new songs and then like 2 classics and call it a day, because that's shitty too. But I don't know what he's talking about here. Why don't you just make good music because you want to make good music?
Yeah.
And who gives a shit where it falls?
Yeah. If you still want to record, your audience is going to be your fans. You're not going to get new fans with your new music. It's not going to happen.
And by talking about it this way, who is he selling to? The old fans are going to buy it or not automatically. Me and you, if Blackie puts out the new album next week, whatever that new album would be, if it came out next week, we're both going to listen to it.
Sure.
We'll probably listen to it a bunch of times because we like Wasp.
But we're not going to say, this just isn't as good as the classics.
No,
it's not as familiar to us as the classics.
No.
That's all. It's familiarity. I'm sure these songs, these Golgotha songs and everything, I'm sure they're great if it was a different day and time. We would know them.
Yeah. Well, and the other thing too is I just don't think that any artist, not just Blackie, any artist that has 40 years in the business, they don't have the fire that they had either. And that's a big part of it.
Sure.
That energy, man, we use Dokken as a great example. They did Tooth and Nail, which is a fucking unbelievable record. They did Under Lock and Key, which is a fucking unbelievable record. When they tried to redo it with Lightning Strikes Again, it's a good record.
Yeah, it's a good record with a familiar
sound. Yeah. Mm-hmm. But it ain't a great record.
No.
It's a good record that sounds familiar.
Right. Well,
there's a big difference.
When Rat did Infestation.
Yeah, good record.
Very, very comfortable in the Rat catalog.
Mm-hmm. But certainly not, Invasion of Your Privacy.
No.
It wasn't that.
If Infestation had come out during the time that would have gotten, a lot of airplay, when there was still such a thing as airplay, we might know a couple of those songs off of Infestation if it was spoon-fed to us for a couple of months.
Yeah, probably. I mean, some of these guys do create good music, though, that nobody hears. Steven is one of them. How much did we like that fucking Smash record?
I love that record. I played a song from that tonight.
That's what I mean. We love that. The fact that nobody else really gravitated to it doesn't make it any less of a great song, or a great album, rather.
No, it's just different time, different place.
Yeah, different time, different audience, different level of listening to it, different way to listen to it.
Mm-hmm.
The old days of listening to it for 3 weeks, getting ready for the big show, are gone.
Yeah,
because you're not going to the big show anymore. You're going to see them at the casino. It's just all different. It's all different, man. But anyway, so that's the end of my musicians that are speaking out of turn segment.
All right.
They're just all, why can't anybody just be honest?
Yeah.
All 3 of those stories. Chris Jericho is not the greatest in rock and roll history. Blackie's not making music that's better than the past. And Lorraine Lewis needs to say why she got fired if she's going to do interviews. I don't see where I'm wrong on any of this.
No, not at all.
Just goofy times we're in, man.
I agree.
So, anyway, so that's that, and that's that. And a Stryper song as well.
Well, I got a quick music-related story,
All right.
and then we can take a break.
Bring it on.
All right. This is close to home for you.
Okay.
This is not far from where you live.
Okay.
This was sent in by a fan, Will D.
All right, Will. Let's see what you got.
So this is ridiculous. An Ohio woman was scammed out of around $122,000 by someone pretending to be the former Journey frontman Steve Perry.
What an idiot.
The unnamed 75-year-old victim took her story to the Westlake, Ohio Police Department last month, claiming she was first contacted by someone pretending to be Steve Perry on Facebook.
Oh, my goodness.
In January.
He said, hey, baby, I'm feeling that way about you. Why don't you throw me some money?
Exactly. According to the cops, the fake Perry told the woman he had a business opportunity for an investment and that he needed a woman in his life. Yeah, her name was Sherry, all right.
She's holding on. Hold on.
Sherry Perry. Over the next few months, as the scammer corresponded with the woman over text and WhatsApp, she sent $72,000 by way of a bank wire transfer to various persons in various different states designated by Perry. She also reportedly bought about $50,000 in gift certificates at the fake Perry's request.
Why?
Who has that kind of cash, just distributing cash? Just
why do I feel there's a husband that probably paid for all this shit?
Yeah, a dead husband who probably worked his life and ended up in the ground. And this woman, this spinster,
and she threw this out there so that she could fuck Steve Perry?
I guess. The woman finally became suspicious. She finally became suspicious.
Finally?
Yeah.
How much money would it have taken you to get suspicious?
None. I never would have entertained anything like this.
The first request for $50.
Yeah.
You'd be like, delete, block.
Exactly.
This ain't Steve Perry.
Right.
Steve Perry has $300 million. He's not fucking trolling you for money.
On Facebook, no less.
You stupid bitch. Holy cow.
The woman finally became suspicious when the fake Perry became more demanding, asking for photos of passports and driver's license. Investigators are reportedly following some electronic leads, while the victim was also told to report the scam to her bank and the FBI's Internet Crime Complaints Center. A rep for the real Perry did not immediately return Rolling Stone's request for comment, nor did the Westlake Police Department.
Yeah, because Steve was too busy laughing at his house.
Yeah.
What a moron.
The actual Perry is, of course, not scamming septuagenarians and is actually eyeing a return to music. The musician ended a 22-year recording hiatus in 2018 with a new album, Traces, followed by a Christmas record, The Seasons, in 2021. In a recent interview with Rolling Stone, Perry revealed he signed to a new label and hopes to start working on a new project soon. I'm very excited about it. I'll have an opportunity very soon to work with these very, very musically gifted people, he said. I'll probably announce who I signed with very soon. That's about as much as I can say, but I'm excited about that, and I am working on stuff.
Do you have any faith? Forget this lady that's a fucking moron.
Yeah.
Do you have any faith that Steve Perry can make a good record?
Well, what do we consider a good record? Are we looking for Journey-esque?
Yeah, or even I'd be happy with You Better Wait. I'd be happy with Hung Out and Strung Out on You, or fucking Captured by the Moment, or any of that, the lesser, the Steve Perry solo stuff. Oh, Sherry.
Yeah.
I'd be happy with any of that. I don't want teeth floating music anymore.
No.
And to be honest, I just did this the other day. I was. It's funny you bring up Steve Perry because this actually reminded me of something. He's always been lousy in the studio by himself. Do you realize that? Do you know the song "You Better Wait," which was the first hit?
Yeah.
From Strange Medicine.
Right. The Love of Strange Medicine.
Yeah,
I went to that tour.
Yeah, I remember you went. That has a weird recording thing going on too. It's like he's really breathy on it, and they didn't edit any of it out. Mm-hmm. Like every line of the song at the beginning is like, "She was only a child," like he was running before he recorded it or something.
Mm-hmm.
Let me see. Let me play it. This is like, this is fucking Steve Perry after what, 150 million sold.
Yeah.
And he couldn't hire an engineer? Listen, and maybe it's just me being he's my favorite singer of all time. So maybe I'm over criticizing this. I probably am.
You know, I it's funny you brought this album up in particular because when everybody was excited about Steve Perry releasing a new solo record when he did, and this one
sucked.
It fell flat on me. I just wasn't a big fan.
It sucked. I'll say it. It doesn't have any good songs on it. You Better Wait's the only really good song on it, and it's, by saying really good, I mean it's really good for this album. It wouldn't be like the O'Sherry record. Was that called Street Talk? Mm-hmm. That has some great songs on it.
Yeah, well, I mean, he was right in the height of the Journey thing, and it was kind of like a carry on from Journey.
He's got a ballad on that one called Running Alone. That might be the greatest song he's ever recorded. I love that song. By far my favorite Steve Perry solo song by a zillion years. But this album, I just remember when this came out and I bought it, I thought my tape was defective.
I did the same thing.
Because he's all breathing weird.
Yeah.
Like, listen just to the beginning, and if I'm analyzing it, chat room, you could tell me. But listen to the beginning when he's doing, "She was only a child." It's like so breathy. It's like, back off the mic and get an engineer.
It's like he's singing it pained. Like he's pained. Like
he just finished running.
Right.
And they said, "Okay, now sing. Go. We want that effect of you being tired." But, all right, here we go. Check this out.
Was only a child, someone to hold on, only
big breath.
Child, someone to believe in, only a child, someone to love.
Now, do you think that was what they were going for, or do you think they just didn't edit it?
It just doesn't sound like that they were using their I'm sure at this time that they were using Pro Tools, maybe not, I'm not really sure. But they weren't using their compressor, and it was like wide open. It caught ambient noise and everything else.
But wouldn't somebody in mix, Mayor Applebaum would have been like, "All right, delete that, right. Mute that." He would have muted all this shit down. It sounds weird. And even when he starts singing it, he's like, "She was 17, beauty queen."
Yeah, you got to wonder if that was intentional. He was going with the most organic sounding, natural sounding recording instead of making it as slick as it could be.
Yeah, it's awful. Whatever he was going for, it ain't good.
Maybe he's trying to go a little more raw,
Maybe. Let's play a little more of this. You know, first we dealt with Traces with his teeth floating in his face, and now here he sounds like me trying to run a fucking marathon. You know, it's like out of breath, awful. All right, here we go. Now they clearly edited that together, so somebody was listening to it. Now let's get back to him singing.
She was 17, beauty queen. I met her in a magazine.
He's almost snorting.
Yeah.
He's like,
Yeah.
He's like taking a deep breath.
I said, they didn't seem like they were working with like a limiter compressor to where he has to overcome the gate.
Yeah.
You know, so the breath would not be part of what the mic is picking up. But as soon as his vocals, you know, open the gate on the limiter compressor, that's all you would get is just the vocal, not the.
Yeah. But wouldn't it just be, I mean, look, I'm no sound engineer, but I do a little editing.
Sure.
And I've edited breath out before.
Mm-hmm.
You just highlight that part in the wave and you click mute.
Right.
That's all you got to do. And it doesn't sound weird with musical bed and everything under it, which he would have here. And that's me doing it with fucking free Audacity, for God's sakes. I mean, what do you think this record cost to make? $500,000?
Well, at the time, when did this come out? 94?
94?
Like
Yeah.
94.
So they were still spending big money on records. And he was Steve Perry.
Yeah.
So you've got to think that they had every fucking tool available to them.
Well, I don't know. Maybe they were actually going for that.
Well, if that's what they were going for, they sure did get it. But
They succeeded.
All the fire, love's desire, reaching out higher, higher. Run away one more day, a broken-hearted child at play. I pray for you, baby blue. In the name of love, I reach for you. In the darkness comes the evil of the night. Think about it. Stop yourself before you fall. Stop before you lose it all. Somewhere there's love. Somewhere.
I mean, when he hits those notes, he's still Steve Perry, but
Right.
the breathing is just, it's something that never appeared on a Journey record.
No, but again, you don't know if that they may just go. Let's go all natural. Let's go raw on this.
Yeah. I swear, if I ever get to interview Steve Perry, which is probably not going to happen, but
Yeah, but
should it happen?
Yeah, sure.
That is a question I'm going to ask him, because it's bugged me for 30 fucking years. Or 40, is it 40 or 30? 30. It has bugged me since this album came out. And then the teeth thing. It's like, dude, seriously, get some fucking denture cream or whatever.
Or get some implants.
Or just take them out.
Yeah.
Why not just take them out when you're doing that, when you're doing the solo versus having them float around in your face?
Yeah, I'm sure you have enough money. You could get the dental implants.
Gee, get a new head. He's fucking got Steve Perry money.
Yeah.
He could get new anything. You know, instead he's out there doing that god awful. That was a bad record.
Yeah, just the choppers.
That was very depressing. Steve Perry waited all this time for a record. He comes back and does it, lays an absolute egg. Just a bad record. That Traces was trash. Very depressing. All right, well, anyway, that's interesting.
All right. Well, I say we play a few tunes, come
All
back,
right.
wrap up the show.
Sounds good.
All right. Since the lovely Taylor has been in the studio being patient and listening to our babble, I'm going to let her pick a tune.
All right.
May I hear Revelations by...
No!
Fuck you. Fuck you, pal. What's that on? Peace of Mind?
Yeah.
All right.
I'll give you a peace of mind.
Yeah.
See, this is what I got to put up with, Chris.
I guess the payoff is probably good.
Oh, funny. So what are you looking for, Taylor?
Revelations?
Oh, Revelation.
Yeah.
All right. There we go. Got it. All right. Well, we're going to play a few tunes and we'll come back and we'll wrap up the last hour of the show. So here it is. It's Iron Maiden with Revelation exclusively here
On your classic.
Do you have a friend or family member who is a fan of Chris Aiken? If so, give the gift of Aiken this Christmas with one of his many books. Chris has written 2 inspirational books. Call Me Chris deals with surviving a near life-ending accident that Chris endured, while Little Victories goes in great detail on how to, and not always the right way to navigate the brutal pain of divorce. If it's heavy metal you enjoy, then Chris's Cause and Effect series of books are your loved one's thing. 3 books that deal with Metallica's Black Album, Motley Crue's 1994 album, and Judas Priest's Turbo. These are fun reads about 3 very controversial albums. Finally, if your loved one likes it raw, dirty, and silly, then Another Things I Should Not Say is the book. Full of not safe for work stories, and other things I should not say details the filthy, silly, and probably illegal activities of Chris during his military years. These books are a lot of fun, informational, heartfelt, and truly tell a lot of the story that is Chris Aiken. Order now from Chris Aiken.